Surrounded by Idiots. Book by Thomas Erikson. Detailed summary. Introduction: The Man Who Was Surrounded by Idiots. Surrounded by Idiots is a self-help book that aims to help readers understand and communicate with people who have different personality types. Erikson divides people into 4 main personality types: red, yellow, green, and blue. Red personality types are dominant, action-oriented, and focused on results. Yellow personality types are creative, spontaneous, and optimistic. Green personality types are empathetic, focused on relationships, and avoid conflict. Blue personality types are analytical, precise, and detail-oriented. Erikson explains how each personality type communicates and interprets information differently, and how miscommunication can occur between people with different personality types. He offers practical advice for communicating effectively with each personality type, such as using concrete examples when speaking with blue types, and showing appreciation for the contributions of green types. Throughout the book, Erikson emphasizes the importance of understanding and accepting different personality types, rather than trying to change or criticize them. He also encourages readers to reflect on their own personality type and how it affects their communication style. Overall, Surrounded by Idiots provides a useful framework for understanding and communicating with people who have different personalities, and can be helpful for improving relationships in both personal and professional settings. Chapter 1: Communication happens on the listener's terms. The topic, communication happens on the listener's terms, from the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson, is an important concept that forms the foundation of effective communication. Erikson argues that in order to communicate effectively, we need to understand and adapt to the listening style of the person we are communicating with. The idea behind this concept is that communication is a two-way process that involves both the speaker and the listener. While the speaker is responsible for delivering the message, the listener is responsible for interpreting it. However, the listener's interpretation is often influenced by their own personality type and communication style. Erikson identifies 4 different personality types or communication styles: red, yellow, green, and blue. Each of these types has a different way of listening and interpreting information. For example, a red listener tends to be focused on results and action, and may be less interested in emotional or relationship-based information. A blue listener, on the other hand, tends to be detail-oriented and analytical, and may prefer concrete and specific information. To communicate effectively with different personality types, Erikson suggests adapting your communication style to match their listening style. For example, when communicating with a red listener, it is important to be clear and direct, and focus on the key actions that need to be taken. When communicating with a blue listener, it is important to provide specific details and evidence to support your message. Erikson also highlights the importance of nonverbal communication in adapting to the listener's terms. Nonverbal communication includes body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions, and can have a significant impact on how a message is received. For example, a green listener may be more receptive to a message if it is delivered in a calm and friendly tone of voice. In addition to adapting your communication style, Erikson emphasizes the importance of active listening. Active listening involves paying attention to the listener's verbal and nonverbal cues, and responding in a way that shows you understand and respect their perspective. Overall, the main idea behind communication happens on the listener's terms is that effective communication requires us to understand and adapt to the listening style of the person we are communicating with. By doing so, we can improve our ability to convey our message and build stronger relationships with others. Chapter 2: Why Are We the Way We Are? The topic, Why Are We the Way We Are? From the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson, is a deep exploration into the nature of personality and what factors shape it. Erikson argues that personality is a complex mix of nature and nurture, with both genetic and environmental factors playing a role. Erikson first discusses the role of genetics in shaping personality, citing studies that show a strong genetic component to traits such as introversion/extroversion and openness to experience. However, he also acknowledges that genetics alone cannot fully explain personality, and that environmental factors such as upbringing and life experiences also play a significant role. One of the key environmental factors that Erikson identifies is early childhood experiences, which he argues can have a lasting impact on personality. For example, a child who grows up in an environment where they are constantly criticized and made to feel inadequate may develop a more defensive or introverted personality as a result. Erikson also explores the impact of cultural and societal factors on personality. For example, he notes that individualistic cultures such as the United States tend to value independence and self-expression, while collectivist cultures such as Japan value conformity and group harmony. Another factor that Erikson identifies as shaping personality is cognitive biases, which are subconscious thought patterns that influence how we perceive and interpret information. For example, a confirmation bias may cause us to seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs, while a negativity bias may cause us to focus more on negative information than positive information. Despite the many factors that shape personality, Erikson emphasizes that it is still possible to change and develop new habits and traits. He suggests that the first step in doing so is to become more self-aware and to identify areas where we may be limiting ourselves due to our personality or cognitive biases. Overall, the main idea behind why are we the way we are is that personality is a complex mix of nature and nurture, with genetics, early childhood experiences, cultural factors, and cognitive biases all playing a role. By understanding these factors and becoming more self-aware, we can work to develop new habits and traits that can lead to personal growth and success. Chapter 3: An Introduction to the System. The topic An Introduction to the System from the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson introduces readers to the DISC system, which is a tool for understanding and categorizing different personality types. The DISC system is based on 4 main personality traits: dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. Erikson explains that each of these traits corresponds to a different color: red for dominance, yellow for influence, green for steadiness, and blue for conscientiousness. He argues that by understanding these different personality types and their associated colors, we can improve our communication and build stronger relationships with others. The dominance personality type, represented by the color red, is characterized by a focus on results and a desire to take control of situations. People with a dominance personality tend to be confident, assertive, and competitive. The influence personality type, represented by the color yellow, is characterized by a focus on relationships and a desire to connect with others. People with an influence personality tend to be outgoing, enthusiastic, and persuasive. The steadiness personality type, represented by the color green, is characterized by a focus on stability and a desire for consistency. People with a steadiness personality tend to be calm, patient, and loyal. The conscientiousness personality type, represented by the color blue, is characterized by a focus on quality and a desire for accuracy. People with a conscientiousness personality tend to be analytical, detail-oriented, and cautious. Erikson emphasizes that while everyone has elements of each personality type, most people have a dominant type that influences their behavior and communication style. He also notes that understanding the different personality types can help us adapt our communication style to be more effective with different individuals. In addition to the 4 main personality types, Erikson also introduces the concept of shades, which are variations of the main types. For example, someone with a red shade may be more assertive and competitive than someone with a yellow shade, but still have elements of the influence personality type. Erikson also notes that personality types can change over time, particularly in response to life experiences and environmental factors. He encourages readers to use the DISC system as a tool for understanding themselves and others, but also to recognize that personality is complex and multifaceted. Overall, the main idea behind An Introduction to the System is that the DISC system is a tool for understanding and categorizing different personality types based on 4 main traits: dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. By understanding these different types and their associated colors, we can improve our communication and build stronger relationships with others. Chapter 4: Red Behavior: How to Recognize a Real Alpha and Avoid Getting in His Way. The topic Red Behavior: How to Recognize a Real Alpha and Avoid Getting in His Way from the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson focuses on the dominance personality type, represented by the color red in the DISC system. Erikson provides insights into the characteristics, behavior, and communication style of dominance personalities, also known as alphas. He also offers tips on how to recognize them and avoid conflicts when dealing with them. Erikson describes dominance personalities as people who are results-oriented, competitive, and confident. They tend to be natural leaders who enjoy taking control of situations and making decisions. Dominance personalities can be quite forceful in their communication style, and they often speak in a direct and assertive manner. They are not afraid to challenge others and may come across as aggressive or intimidating at times. Erikson cautions that it is important to distinguish between true alphas and individuals who are simply pretending to be dominant. He advises readers to look for signs of genuine confidence, such as a calm and measured demeanor, the ability to make decisions quickly and decisively, and a willingness to take risks. He notes that true alphas are often successful and respected, and they have a track record of achieving their goals. Erikson also provides tips on how to communicate effectively with dominance personalities. He suggests using direct language and avoiding small talk or unnecessary details. He also advises avoiding confrontations and being clear and concise in your communication. He emphasizes that it is important to remain calm and confident when dealing with dominance personalities, as they are more likely to respect individuals who are able to hold their ground. Finally, Erikson warns readers to be cautious when dealing with dominance personalities, particularly if they are not true alphas. He notes that some individuals may use dominant behavior as a way to manipulate or control others, and it is important to be aware of these tactics. He advises readers to trust their instincts and be wary of individuals who seem too aggressive or domineering. Overall, the main idea behind red behavior, how to recognize a real alpha and avoid getting in his way, is that dominance personalities, represented by the color red in the disc system, can be difficult to deal with if you are not prepared. Erikson provides insights into the characteristics and behavior of true alphas, as well as tips on how to communicate effectively with them. He also advises readers to be cautious and to trust their instincts when dealing with dominant individuals. By understanding the traits and communication style of dominance personalities, readers can learn to navigate their interactions more effectively and avoid conflicts. Chapter 5 Yellow Behavior, How to Recognize Someone Whose Head is in the Clouds and Get Him Back to Reality Again. The topic Yellow Behavior, How to Recognize Someone Whose Head is in the Clouds and Get Him Back to Reality Again from the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson focuses on the influence personality type, represented by the color yellow in the disc system. Erikson provides insights into the characteristics, behavior, and communication style of influence personalities and offers tips on how to recognize them and bring them back to reality when needed. Erikson describes influence personalities as people who are outgoing, optimistic, and social. They tend to be very expressive and emotional, and they thrive on interaction and attention from others. Influence personalities are typically creative and innovative, and they often have a unique perspective on things. However, Erikson cautions that influence personalities can also be prone to distraction and may struggle with focus and follow-through. They can be impulsive and may struggle with self-discipline, which can lead to missed deadlines and unfinished projects. Influence personalities are also sensitive to criticism and may become defensive if they feel their ideas or contributions are being undervalued. Erikson offers tips on how to communicate effectively with influence personalities. He suggests using positive language and focusing on their strengths rather than their weaknesses. He also advises being patient and understanding, as influence personalities may take longer to make decisions or complete tasks. He emphasizes the importance of providing clear and concise instructions and avoiding overwhelming them with too much information. Finally, Erikson provides strategies for bringing influence personalities back to reality when necessary. He suggests being direct and using concrete examples to help them understand the consequences of their actions. He also advises setting clear boundaries and holding them accountable for their commitments. Overall, the main idea behind yellow behavior, how to recognize someone whose head is in the clouds and get him back to reality again, is that influence personalities, represented by the color yellow in the disc system, can be challenging to work with if you are not prepared. Erikson provides insights into the characteristics and behavior of influence personalities, as well as tips on how to communicate effectively with them. He also offers strategies for helping them stay focused and on task. By understanding the traits and communication style of influence personalities, readers can learn to work more effectively with them and achieve better results. Chapter 6: Green Behavior: Why Change is So Difficult and How to Get Around It. The topic Green Behavior: Why Change is So Difficult and How to Get Around It from the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson focuses on the steadiness personality type, represented by the color green in the disc system. Erikson provides insights into the characteristics, behavior, and communication style of steadiness personalities and offers tips on how to recognize them and how to help them deal with change. Erikson describes steadiness personalities as people who are calm, patient, and dependable. They are often good listeners and are highly supportive of others. Steadiness personalities value stability and routine and tend to be resistant to change. They are often risk-averse and may struggle to take action or make decisions quickly. However, Erikson cautions that steadiness personalities can also be prone to procrastination and may struggle to adapt to new situations or ideas. They may become anxious or stressed when faced with uncertainty or change. Erikson offers tips on how to communicate effectively with steadiness personalities. He suggests being patient and giving them time to process information and make decisions. He also advises using a calm and reassuring tone and focusing on the benefits of the proposed changes. Finally, Erikson provides strategies for helping steadiness personalities deal with change. He suggests breaking down the change into smaller, manageable steps and providing clear guidance and support throughout the process. He also advises being transparent and honest about the reasons for the change and the expected outcomes. Overall, the main idea behind Green Behavior: Why Change is So Difficult and How to Get Around It is that steadiness personalities, represented by the color green in the disc system, can struggle with change. Erikson provides insights into the characteristics and behavior of steadiness personalities, as well as tips on how to communicate effectively with them. He also offers strategies for helping them deal with change by breaking it down into smaller steps and providing clear guidance and support. By understanding the traits and communication style of steadiness personalities, readers can learn to work more effectively with them and achieve better results. Chapter 7: Blue Behavior: In Pursuit of Perfection. The topic Blue Behavior: In Pursuit of Perfection from the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson focuses on the conscientiousness personality type, represented by the color blue in the disc system. Erikson provides insights into the characteristics, behavior, and communication style of conscientiousness personalities and offers tips on how to recognize them and how to work with them effectively. Erikson describes conscientiousness personalities as people who are detail-oriented, analytical, and task-focused. They are often perfectionists and value accuracy and precision in their work. Conscientiousness personalities tend to be highly organized and structured, and they prefer to work independently rather than in teams. However, Erikson warns that conscientiousness personalities can also be prone to overthinking and analysis paralysis. They may struggle with delegation and may become stressed or overwhelmed when faced with too many tasks or deadlines. Erikson offers tips on how to communicate effectively with conscientiousness personalities. He suggests providing clear and detailed instructions and feedback, as well as emphasizing the importance of the task and its impact. He also advises being direct and avoiding small talk or unnecessary information. Finally, Erikson provides strategies for working with conscientiousness personalities effectively. He suggests giving them the autonomy to work independently, while also providing clear goals and deadlines. He also advises breaking down complex tasks into smaller, more manageable ones and offering support and guidance throughout the process. Overall, the main idea behind Blue Behavior: In Pursuit of Perfection is that conscientiousness personalities, represented by the color blue in the disc system, value accuracy and precision in their work. Erikson provides insights into the characteristics and behavior of conscientiousness personalities, as well as tips on how to communicate effectively with them. He also offers strategies for working with conscientiousness personalities effectively by providing clear instructions, goals, and deadlines, and offering support and guidance throughout the process. By understanding the traits and communication style of conscientiousness personalities, readers can learn to work more effectively with them and achieve better results. Chapter 8: No One is Completely Perfect: Strengths and Weaknesses. The topic No One is Completely Perfect, Strengths and Weaknesses from the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson focuses on the fact that everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, regardless of their personality type. Erikson emphasizes the importance of recognizing and understanding one's own strengths and weaknesses, as well as those of others, in order to work effectively with them. Erikson begins by pointing out that people tend to focus more on their weaknesses than their strengths. He argues that this is counterproductive and that it is important to recognize and utilize one's strengths in order to achieve success. Erikson then introduces the concept of the shadow side, which refers to the negative aspects of a person's personality. He emphasizes the importance of recognizing and addressing one's shadow side in order to improve and grow as a person. Erikson then offers insights into the strengths and weaknesses of each of the 4 personality types in the DISC system: dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. He suggests that each type has its own unique set of strengths and weaknesses and that it is important to recognize and work with them. Erikson also emphasizes the importance of understanding and accepting the strengths and weaknesses of others. He suggests that people should strive to complement each other's strengths and weaknesses in order to achieve better results. Finally, Erikson offers tips on how to work on one's weaknesses and improve as a person. He suggests setting specific goals, seeking feedback from others, and focusing on one area at a time. Overall, the main idea behind No One is Completely Perfect, Strengths and Weaknesses is that everyone has their own unique set of strengths and weaknesses, regardless of their personality type. Erikson emphasizes the importance of recognizing and utilizing one's strengths, as well as acknowledging and addressing one's weaknesses. He also offers insights into the strengths and weaknesses of each personality type in the DISC system and suggests that people should work to complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. By understanding and accepting one's own and others' strengths and weaknesses, readers can learn to work more effectively with others and achieve better results. Chapter 9: Learning New Things, How to Use What You've Learned. The topic Learning New Things, How to Use What You've Learned from the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson focuses on the importance of applying what you have learned in order to improve yourself and your interactions with others. Erikson emphasizes that it is not enough to simply acquire new knowledge and skills, one must also learn how to use them effectively. Erikson begins by discussing the concept of learning styles, which refers to the different ways in which people learn best. He suggests that by understanding their own learning style, individuals can tailor their approach to learning and make the most of their efforts. Erikson then offers tips for how to apply what you have learned in various situations. He emphasizes the importance of practicing new skills regularly in order to reinforce them and make them more automatic. He also suggests seeking out opportunities to apply what you have learned in real-life situations, as well as sharing your knowledge and expertise with others. Erikson also discusses the role of feedback in the learning process. He suggests seeking feedback from others in order to identify areas for improvement and gain new insights into how to apply what you have learned. Finally, Erikson emphasizes the importance of staying motivated and focused on your goals when learning new things. He suggests setting specific goals and tracking your progress, as well as staying open to new challenges and opportunities. Overall, the main idea behind learning new things, how to use what you've learned, is that it is not enough to simply acquire new knowledge and skills, one must also learn how to apply them effectively. Erikson offers tips for how to do this, including tailoring your approach to your learning style, practicing regularly, seeking feedback, and staying motivated. By applying what you have learned, you can improve yourself and your interactions with others, and ultimately achieve greater success in your personal and professional life. Chapter 10: Body Language, Why How You Move Matters, How Do You Really Look? The topic Body Language, Why How You Move Matters, How Do You Really Look? From the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson discusses the importance of nonverbal communication and body language in our interactions with others. Erikson explains that our body language can reveal a lot about our thoughts, emotions, and intentions, and can significantly impact how others perceive us. Erikson begins by discussing the 4 primary categories of body language: posture, gestures, facial expressions, and eye contact. He explains that each of these categories can convey different messages to others and can influence how we are perceived. Erikson then offers tips for how to use body language effectively in various situations. For example, he suggests standing tall with an open posture to convey confidence and authority, using gestures to emphasize key points in a conversation, and making appropriate eye contact to show interest and engagement. Erikson also discusses the importance of being aware of your own body language and how it may be perceived by others. He suggests paying attention to your own posture, gestures, facial expressions, and eye contact, and making adjustments as needed to ensure that you are projecting the desired image. Finally, Erikson emphasizes the importance of being mindful of cultural differences in body language. He explains that different cultures may have different norms and expectations around body language, and it is important to be aware of these differences in order to avoid misunderstandings or unintentional offense. Overall, the main idea behind body language, why how you move matters, how do you really look, is that our nonverbal communication and body language can significantly impact how we are perceived by others. Erikson offers tips for how to use body language effectively in various situations, as well as how to be aware of and adapt to cultural differences. By paying attention to our body language and making adjustments as needed, we can improve our communication and interactions with others. Chapter 11: A real-life example. The company party, how to understand everyone you meet. The topic: a real-life example, the company party, how to understand everyone you meet, from the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson, provides a real-life example of how to apply the concepts discussed in the book to better understand the behavior of others in social situations. Erikson describes a scenario in which a woman named Sarah attends a company party and encounters a variety of different personalities. He explains how Sarah uses her knowledge of the 4 different behavioral types, red, yellow, green, and blue, to better understand and interact with each person she meets. For example, Sarah recognizes that her boss is a blue personality type, which means he is focused on details and precision. She adjusts her communication style to match his preferences, being careful to provide him with specific and accurate information. Sarah also meets a yellow personality type at the party, who is more focused on creativity and big-picture thinking. Sarah recognizes that this person may not be interested in discussing details or specifics, and instead engages them in more abstract and imaginative conversation. Erikson goes on to explain how Sarah's understanding of behavioral types allows her to effectively navigate the party and build stronger relationships with her colleagues. By tailoring her communication style to each person's preferences and tendencies, she is able to connect with them on a deeper level and build trust and rapport. The main idea behind a real-life example, the company party, how to understand everyone you meet, is that understanding the behavioral types discussed in the book can be a powerful tool for improving communication and building stronger relationships with others. By recognizing the different personality types and adjusting our communication styles accordingly, we can better connect with others and build rapport. Erikson also emphasizes the importance of being flexible and adaptable in our communication styles, as every person is unique and may not fit neatly into a specific behavioral type. By being mindful of others' preferences and tendencies, we can more effectively navigate social situations and build stronger relationships. Chapter 12: Adaptation, how to handle idiots, i.e., everyone who isn't like you. The topic adaptation, how to handle idiots, i.e., everyone who isn't like you, from the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson, emphasizes the importance of adapting our communication style to effectively interact with people who have different behavioral types than our own. Erikson explains that while we may be naturally inclined to communicate in a certain way based on our own behavioral type, this can lead to misunderstandings and miscommunications when interacting with others who have different tendencies. He outlines several strategies for adapting our communication style to better connect with people who have different behavioral types. These include: 1. Identifying the other person's behavioral type. By observing the other person's behavior and communication style, we can often determine their behavioral type and adjust our approach accordingly. 2. Adapting our tone and language. Depending on the other person's behavioral type, we may need to use different language and tones to effectively communicate. For example, a red personality type may respond better to direct and assertive language, while a green personality type may prefer more gentle and collaborative language. 3. Adapting our body language. Our body language can also convey different messages to people with different behavioral types. For example, a blue personality type may appreciate a more formal and reserved body language, while a yellow personality type may respond better to a more relaxed and open body language. For being flexible and open-minded, finally, Erikson emphasizes the importance of being flexible and open-minded in our communication style. While we may have a natural tendency to communicate in a certain way, it's important to recognize that everyone is unique and may have different preferences and tendencies. The main idea behind adaptation, how to handle idiots, i.e., everyone who isn't like you, is that adapting our communication style to the behavioral types of others can improve our ability to connect with them and build stronger relationships. By being mindful of others' tendencies and adjusting our communication style accordingly, we can more effectively navigate social situations and build trust and rapport. Erikson also emphasizes the importance of being authentic and genuine in our communication style, rather than trying to simply mimic the behavior of others. By finding a balance between adapting to others' tendencies and maintaining our own authenticity, we can effectively navigate social situations and build stronger relationships with a variety of different people. Chapter 13: How to Deliver Really Bad News, the Challenge of Speaking Your Mind. The topic: How to Deliver Really Bad News, the Challenge of Speaking Your Mind of the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson. The author discusses how to communicate bad news effectively, especially in situations where the recipient might have a different communication style. Erikson begins the chapter by highlighting the importance of being direct and honest when delivering bad news, rather than beating around the bush or sugarcoating the message. He also emphasizes that it is important to tailor the message to the listener's communication style in order to maximize the chances of the message being understood and accepted. The author then describes 4 different communication styles and how to deliver bad news to each of them. For instance, a person with a red communication style prefers to receive news in a direct and assertive way, so it is important to be clear and concise when delivering bad news to them. On the other hand, a person with a green communication style might need more time to process the news and might require a more collaborative approach. Erikson also stresses the importance of delivering bad news in a way that shows empathy and understanding towards the recipient. This can involve acknowledging their emotions and offering support or solutions. The author provides a range of practical tips for delivering bad news, such as choosing the right timing and location, using appropriate body language, and preparing for potential reactions. He also discusses the importance of active listening and being open to feedback, even when delivering bad news. Finally, Erikson emphasizes that delivering bad news is a skill that can be learned and improved with practice, and that it is important to approach each situation with an open mind and a willingness to adapt to the recipient's communication style. In summary, the main idea of the chapter is that delivering bad news effectively requires being direct, tailoring the message to the recipient's communication style, showing empathy and understanding, and practicing active listening and open-mindedness. By doing so, one can improve their ability to communicate in difficult situations and strengthen their relationships with others. Chapter 14: Who Gets Along and Why It Works, Group Dynamics at Their Finest. The topic: Who Gets Along and Why It Works, Group Dynamics at Their Finest from the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson focuses on how group dynamics work and what makes some groups more effective than others. The author points out that there are different types of group dynamics, and understanding them is important for effective communication. The author identifies 4 different types of group dynamics: the synergist, the compromiser, the analyst, and the director. Each of these dynamics has a different approach to problem solving and decision-making. The synergist is focused on collaboration and finding the best solution for everyone, while the compromiser seeks to find a middle ground between different viewpoints. The analyst is focused on data and facts, while the director is decisive and wants to make quick decisions. The author also emphasizes the importance of trust in group dynamics. He explains that trust is built through consistent behavior, honest communication, and reliability. Without trust, a group will struggle to work effectively together. Additionally, the author discusses the importance of diversity in group dynamics. He notes that diversity of backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives can help to bring new ideas and solutions to a group. However, it can also lead to conflicts and misunderstandings if not managed properly. Finally, the author provides tips for how to improve group dynamics, including setting clear goals, establishing communication norms, and ensuring everyone has an equal voice. He emphasizes the importance of being open to different perspectives and being willing to compromise when necessary. Overall, the chapter highlights the importance of understanding group dynamics in order to improve communication and work effectively with others. By recognizing different approaches to problem-solving and decision-making, building trust, embracing diversity, and following best practices for group communication, individuals can improve their ability to work effectively with others. Chapter 15: Written Communication: How to Evaluate Someone When You Can't Meet in Person. In this section, Thomas Erikson discusses how written communication can be challenging because it lacks the nuances of verbal and nonverbal communication. However, there are ways to evaluate someone's personality and communication style through their writing. Erikson begins by discussing the different personality traits that are reflected in writing. For example, someone who is detail-oriented and precise will likely use complex sentence structures and specific language. In contrast, someone who is more creative and spontaneous may use shorter, simpler sentences and more emotive language. Erikson also suggests looking for certain key phrases or words that can reveal important information about a person's communication style. For example, someone who uses phrases like, "in my opinion" or "I feel" may be more focused on expressing their own thoughts and feelings, while someone who uses phrases like "research shows" or "studies indicate" may be more focused on presenting objective facts. Another important aspect of written communication is tone. Erikson explains that tone can be difficult to interpret in written communication because it is often influenced by the reader's own mood and perspective. However, he suggests looking for cues like punctuation and word choice to help determine the intended tone. Finally, Erikson discusses the importance of context in evaluating written communication. He explains that the same message can come across very differently depending on the context in which it is presented. For example, an email sent in the middle of a busy workday may be read as terse or abrupt, while the same message sent after hours may be read as friendly and casual. Overall, Erikson emphasizes the importance of taking a holistic approach to evaluating written communication, considering factors like personality traits, key phrases, tone, and context in order to gain a better understanding of the person behind the words. Chapter 16: What Makes Us as Mad as Hell? Temperament Can Reveal Everything About a Person. In the chapter What Makes Us as Mad as Hell, Temperament Can Reveal Everything About a Person in the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson, the author explores the concept of temperament and how it affects our behavior and reactions in different situations. Erikson explains that temperament is a set of innate traits that determine how we react and respond to various stimuli in our environment. He categorizes temperament into 4 colors, namely red, yellow, green, and blue, based on their dominant characteristics. Red temperament is characterized by dominance, power, and competitiveness, and they are motivated by results and success. Yellow temperament, on the other hand, is creative, imaginative, and spontaneous. They are motivated by ideas and are often seen as dreamers. Green temperament is calm, patient, and analytical, and they prefer to gather information and analyze it before making a decision. Blue temperament is characterized by perfectionism, attention to detail, and a strong sense of responsibility. Erikson emphasizes that understanding our own temperament and that of others is crucial in effective communication and building relationships. He notes that people with different temperaments may have different triggers that set them off, and understanding these triggers can help us avoid conflicts and misunderstandings. The author also notes that while temperament is innate, it can be influenced by our environment, experiences, and upbringing. Therefore, it is important to be aware of our biases and prejudices towards people with different temperaments and work towards overcoming them. In conclusion, the chapter emphasizes the importance of understanding and respecting the different temperaments of people we interact with. By doing so, we can improve our communication, build better relationships, and avoid conflicts and misunderstandings. Chapter 17: Stress Factors and Energy Thieves. What is stress? In the topic Stress Factors and Energy Thieves, what is stress? From the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson, the author explains the concept of stress and how it affects people differently depending on their personality types. Erikson defines stress as a natural physiological response to a perceived threat or challenge, which triggers the body's fight or flight response. However, the author notes that not all stress is bad, as it can also serve as a motivator for people to achieve their goals. The author goes on to explain that stress is caused by a variety of factors, including environmental factors such as noise, temperature, and lighting, as well as personal factors such as work pressure, family problems, and financial issues. Different personality types react to these stress factors in unique ways. For example, Reds tend to be the most resilient to stress as they are action-oriented and enjoy problem-solving. Yellows, on the other hand, may struggle with stress as they tend to be more laid back and may find it difficult to handle high-pressure situations. Greens may experience stress due to a fear of change, while blues may struggle with stress due to their perfectionism and high expectations of themselves and others. Erikson also highlights the concept of energy thieves, which are people or situations that drain an individual's energy and contribute to stress. Energy thieves can be difficult people, demanding bosses, or even the daily commute to work. To manage stress effectively, the author suggests understanding the stress factors and energy thieves that affect you personally and developing strategies to deal with them. This may include learning to say no to unreasonable demands, taking breaks throughout the day, practicing relaxation techniques, and seeking support from others. Overall, the topic stress factors and energy thieves, what is stress? Emphasizes the importance of recognizing and managing stress to maintain good physical and mental health. Chapter 18, a short reflection through history, people have always been like this. In this chapter, Thomas Erikson provides a brief historical reflection on human behavior, showing that people have always behaved in similar ways to what we see today. He argues that the basic characteristics of people have not changed over time, but rather that the ways in which they express these characteristics have evolved with cultural and societal changes. Erikson begins by discussing how ancient philosophers, such as Plato and Aristotle, recognized different personality types. He then moves on to the Middle Ages, where people were classified into 4 basic temperaments: sanguine, choleric, melancholic, and phlegmatic. Erikson explains how these temperaments were believed to be related to the 4 elements of earth, fire, water, and air. He then discusses how these temperaments influenced medical practices and treatments. Erikson then jumps ahead to the 20th century, where personality typing became more scientific and evidence-based, with the development of theories such as Myers-Briggs and the Big Five. He argues that while the terminology and methods have changed over time, the basic understanding of human behavior has remained consistent. Throughout the chapter, Erikson emphasizes that understanding personality types is not about pigeonholing people or putting them in boxes, but rather about recognizing the ways in which different individuals interact with and perceive the world around them. He concludes by stating that while humans may be complex creatures, with a multitude of different traits and behaviors, the key to understanding them is to recognize that they are not so different from each other after all. Chapter 19, Voices from Real Life. In this chapter of the book, Surrounded by Idiots, Thomas Erikson shares some real-life stories of how people have used the principles and concepts presented in the book to improve their relationships and communication with others. The stories come from people in various industries and situations, such as a manager who used the DISC model to identify the communication styles of his team and adjust his leadership approach accordingly, a couple who were able to understand and appreciate each other's strengths and weaknesses using the model, and a teacher who used the model to better connect with her students and identify their individual learning styles. One of the key takeaways from these stories is that understanding the communication styles of others can lead to better relationships, whether in personal or professional contexts. By recognizing the strengths and weaknesses of different communication styles, individuals can adjust their own communication approach and be more effective in their interactions. Another important lesson is that applying these concepts requires practice and effort. It may not always be easy to understand and adapt to the communication styles of others, but it can lead to better outcomes and stronger connections. Overall, the stories presented in this chapter serve as a reminder that the principles and concepts in Surrounded by Idiots can be applied to real-life situations and lead to positive results in relationships and communication. Chapter 20, a quick little quiz to see what you've learned. In this chapter of Surrounded by Idiots, author Thomas Erikson provides a quiz for readers to test their knowledge of the concepts presented in the book. The quiz consists of 12 multiple-choice questions that cover various topics discussed throughout the book, such as the 4 different communication styles: red, yellow, green, and blue, body language, group dynamics, and stress factors. The purpose of the quiz is to help readers understand how much they have learned from the book and how well they can apply these concepts to their personal and professional lives. Erikson emphasizes that the ability to recognize and adapt to different communication styles is essential for building effective relationships and achieving success in various domains of life. By taking the quiz, readers can identify their strengths and weaknesses in understanding the material covered in the book. Erikson encourages readers to review the relevant chapters and improve their understanding of the concepts they struggled with. Overall, the quiz serves as a final test for readers to assess their comprehension of the book's content and emphasizes the importance of continuous learning and improvement in communication skills. Chapter 21, a final example from everyday life, perhaps the most enlightening team project in the history of the world. The final topic of the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson is titled A Final Example from Everyday Life, perhaps the most enlightening team project in the history of the world. In this chapter, Erikson narrates his experience of working on a project with a diverse group of individuals, each with their own personality type. He highlights how, despite their differences, they were able to work together and achieve success by understanding and utilizing their strengths and weaknesses. Erikson notes that the project was challenging, as the team members came from different cultures and had different communication styles, preferences, and ways of working. However, by using the DISC system, they were able to recognize and adapt to each other's behavior, leading to effective collaboration. Erikson also emphasizes the importance of open communication and feedback in successful teamwork. By sharing their thoughts and feelings with each other, the team was able to solve problems and overcome challenges together. The chapter concludes with a reflection on how understanding personality types and utilizing the DISC system can improve teamwork and productivity in any setting. By recognizing and respecting the unique qualities of each team member, individuals can work together more effectively and achieve greater success. In summary, this chapter serves as a real-life example of the concepts discussed throughout the book, demonstrating how the DISC system can be used to overcome communication barriers and build successful teams. It highlights the importance of understanding and adapting to different personality types in order to work collaboratively and achieve common goals.